would you bring the lights back up, please? So today we're going into the last four of 17, 18, 19, 20 of the processes. What I've enjoyed about this, and I hope you have, is that deep within all of this is real spiritual truth, teachings. But given in a practical way, so no matter what's going on in your life today or tomorrow or a year from now, you have some tools in your toolbox that you can reach in and you say, oh, you know what? I forgot about this. Let me give it a try and let's see what happens. So by the time we're finished next week, I think we've covered just about everything that can show up. As I said in the very beginning, these are the tools that I use as a spiritual coach. I've been using them for, 10 years in my own life and in the coaching of other folks. So as we go through today, I think you're going to see. Those of you who want to join us on Tuesday night, this will be the last Tuesday night for a while. We're going to take a break in September, going deeper and higher, and it's been a fun class for me because I'm watching folks send up rockets of desire and already manifesting them before the class is even completed. So join in if you'd like at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary, and this will be the last one till we get back sometime maybe in beginning of October. We're going to take September off. So the basis of all this is, again, it's a vibrational universe. We know that through quantum physics. We know that through all science today teaches that. What hasn't been taught real well is that you and I are vibrational beings. We're energy. Energy never dies. It can only be transformed, transmuted to some other level of energy. So that's where this connection is as we begin to understand more clearly how we can adjust our own vibration to be joyful co-creators and live the life that we want. And that's, I believe, why we're here. It's why we came to this planet, to learn how to do this and do it in the physical realm, not just in the spirit realm. As Einstein said, and I've showed this every week because it's true, nothing happens until something moves. And that's your and my choice. We get to move it. Or we can sit status quo and never change what we've done for 40 years, we're going to do for as long as we're here, and nothing will change until we make it move. And that's the ownership and the responsibility comes with this level of personal responsibility. I don't know about you, but I was taught victimhood. To blame parents, blame counselors, blame the minister, blame the economy, blame the politicians. This is not about that. This is about owning everything personally, taking everything responsible and saying, if I don't like what's happening in this moment, I have the power to begin to change. So these were the processes we worked on. I've tried to underline a few because someone said to me, there's too many, I don't know where to go to next. So I've lined some that I use and have been more important. As I said, number 16 last week, I think is the number one important one to learn. If you don't learn out of this how to pivot, you might as well have wasted your whole weeks in August. Because it's the number one technique process that we learn here that we can pivot. Oh, I don't want that. What do I want? What makes me feel good? That's pivoting. I think it's the number one out of all these processes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. So this week, the focus wheel process. So this is during the week. Whenever you realize that your current vibrational point of attraction is not where you want it to be. How do you know what your vibrational point of attraction is? How? Exactly, how you feel. How you feel is your attraction GPS. Because how you feel is what you're vibrating to. And how you feel in this moment, and remember, after 17 seconds, it begins to have other thoughts that join in. At 68 seconds, the law of attraction goes into work. And the law of the universe, God, whatever word you want to use for it, says, oh, okay, that's what you want. The answer is always yes. and I'll bring what you want. That's the vibrational point of attraction. So this is a way to change it. This is also a great tool for when you start to identify, I got some deep-seated beliefs here. And I'm seeing patterns that keep coming up and keep coming up. Some of you already I've talked about. We've talked about it over this period of time. When you've got deep-seated beliefs, you're going to say to yourself, well, I thought I took care of that last week. Here it is again. Those deep patterns or beliefs. Remember, beliefs are nothing but thoughts repeated over and over and over again with emotion. They go into the subconscious and they run behind your conscious mind all the time. But they still bring feelings, so they're vibrational attractions, even though they're unconscious thoughts. Abraham says, use this when you're sometime between boredom and anger. So you can see it's when you're in the negative state. I mean, he stops it at anger. We're not going the whole way down to 22, which is depression. So here's what you do. Take a piece of paper, draw a large circle, and then draw a smaller one inside of it. So it kind of looks like this. All of these tools, as you've seen now and you've been part of this series, are really processes or tools to help you what? Focus. Bring your attention to. Because when you focus and you bring your attention, energy comes. It's when we're scatterbrained all over, nothing will ever happen. It continues over and over again. So this is another tool. So draw a big circle and then draw a little circle inside of it. Staring at that circle for a moment and then closing your eyes, his suggestion is this: well, I clearly know what I don't want. What do I want? Just those two, a statement and a question, will help you begin to focus, will they not? And as you know, the other thing you're going to see, as we've seen over and over again through 17 processes, not only do we focus and bring attention, what we write. We go to a piece of paper with a pen. Why? Because it takes it out of just thought and it begins to put it here. And when we put it on paper, we begin to zero in on the issue. So many of you are resisting using paper. You say, well, how does he know that? Because all of us do. For some reason, the majority of human beings will resist putting on paper. I don't know, it must have something to do with tests back when we were in school, I don't know. It's like, oh, if I put it on paper, then it'll be wrong, right? No, there's no wrong here. There's no failure here. It's learning lessons to move forward. So get out that paper, make the circles, and get out your pen. And so here's some suggestions. I feel fat. We don't want to vibrate at fat, right? So the suggestion is, well, I want to feel slender. Or I feel poor. No, I want to feel prosperous. I feel unloved. I want to feel loved. I feel deceived. I want to feel honored. I feel ill. No, I want to feel well. I feel powerless. I want to feel my power. So again, in this process is identifying what you're feeling, what you do not want, and immediately moving into what you do want. That process in itself will begin to change your vibration. You will begin to vibrate at this side, right? So he takes it even a step further. Write what you want in the center of the little circle I just used here. I don't want to be fat. No, I want to feel slender. Put that in the middle of the bullseye, okay? And remember, now this is on a piece of paper, and that outer circle becomes your wheel of focus. So what do we do then? Starting at 12 o'clock on the circle, begin to write all the things that you want. Now what this does is it forces you to write 12 different things that you want other than feeling fat in this example. So think about that and you say, well, you know, I can only come up with 3. It's not good enough. You got to finish the wheel. So it focuses you not only on what you don't want to what you want, but you begin to focus and write 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, always 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. By the time you get 12 what you want, well, how do you think your vibration will shift? It goes way up. Way up. This doesn't have to be fancy. Just do it. Grab a piece of it. And I welcome you this week to try it. When something shows up that you don't want, go here and try it one time. And look where you are vibrationally, and look where you're going with where your whole attitude is and what you're feeling. And watch what happens when you do this fairly simple. This is not rocket science stuff, right? This is simply giving you a structure to begin to focus. And your 68 seconds will come and go while you go around the whole horn of 12. So the idea here is, number one, slow down your negative belief and begin to fire off your desires, rockets of what you want. And you make a complete shift in your vibration, complete shift in your thoughts, and then your feelings and your vibe. And you begin to offset that with much multiple better feeling ones. Your point of power, and this, I do a lot of this with my coaching clients. Take back your personal power. Your point of power is in this present moment. If you're thinking of the past or you're thinking of the future, you're doing it now. Right? You can only think and feel in the now. So if you're bringing back bad memories, or you're bringing back things that you're worried that you're not going to happen or in your life, or whatever the future part of it is, you're all bringing that into the now, and you're making this now your vibration of everything that you don't have and maybe don't even want. So remember, your personal power is only in this moment. And this kind of processes will help focus you to this present moment. The universe is always saying what? Yes to you. No matter what your vibrational point of attraction is, says yes. After 68 seconds, it begins to gather up and bring to you what you vibrationally are saying, I want. When you are vibrationally talking and feeling about lack of anything, what's coming? More lack. It only can. This is why I've said over and over again, so many of the billions of prayers over the years never, ever happened. Because we pray for what we don't have. Right? So that's one of the ways that we can completely shift that energy and that vibration. This process works because it causes you and I to focus and bring attention very clearly in a very structured way of what you want. Trust me, when you get to 12, you're going to push yourself. Because our norm is to think about everything we don't want, or the lack thereof. That's where we've been trained. That's how we've been domesticated. As we force ourselves to get 12 of those in, your vibration is going to go up and much higher. And it takes you right past the 17 and 68 seconds and engages the law of attraction. We've talked about that a lot. Number 18, finding the feeling place when you want to improve a situation. How many of you had an example this week when you didn't feel like what you really wanted? Or is it just me? Yeah, it comes every week. It's part of living. But the way to process it quickly is how you take your life, become the cork, and float to the top. This is somewhere between pessimism and anger. Obviously, it's all in the negative when this shows up. Here's one of the things we have a tendency to do, we being human beings. Oh, I'm not happy here. I want to be over there. Right? What's the vibration? I'm not happy. It's words over there. The vibration is what you're feeling here and now. And that's what this process is all about, is letting us see that our feelings and our vibrations are much more about here and now, not where we will say we want to go. It's really easy to put a smiley face on it, right? Say, oh yeah, everything's fine. I'm doing good, and meanwhile your gut's just churning. Where your gut's churning is what this is about. Not about the happy face and all the words you got. And you can text all you want, you can send emails, and you can go on Facebook and send out all of that. But if your gut's churning to something different than that, this is your point of attraction. Not all the fancy words, not all the smiley faces, not all the emojis. It's what's going on inside in your gut. And that's what we got to pay attention. That's the reality, and it's being authentic. Not the mask we can put on. We've been all trained to put on masks. Everything's fine. So we attempt to put a happy sounding words over not good feelings. Now I know I'm not the only one who did this week. There's other folks who have done this, right? And it's like putting a happy face sticker over your almost empty fuel gauge. Oh, I got plenty of gas. And then you wonder why you were stranded on the side of the road. Say, why did it happen to me? I was sending out all happy face emojis. No, you forgot what was not in your tank. Seat of the emotions is chakra number 3, solar plexus. That's your point of attraction. Not the words, not all the fancy stuff. It's what's going on underneath in the gut. So our words are not our point of attraction. Our point of attraction is our practice vibrational offering. It's what we've been offering up to the universe over and over again for years, our whole life. And unless we shift that, we can put all the fancy words and emojis we want and pretty pictures. It's going to be what your practiced vibrational offering is to the universe. The universe goes, This is why when we look around and we see people and you say, you know what, nothing's changed in them in 20 years. Why? Because their point of attraction never changed. They are still attracting at their level in the gut. The practiced vibrational offering. The way you feel is the only indicator to your point of attraction. You've heard me say this over and over and over again, because that's what's new here. This has not been taught well at Unity. It has not been taught well in other spiritual practices. We've done all the affirmations, and affirmations are good, but affirmations are nothing but what? Words. You can do them till you're blue in the face and pass out. And they are not going to change unless you're feeling what your words are. So this, you've heard it from me for weeks over weeks of this, because this is what this is all about, is making that change at the emotional level. This process is simply to imagine something that would conjure up a better feel about it. Once we're aware of this, it becomes fairly easy. Because when you get in tune with your emotional GPS and say, that is not what I want in my life, what do I want? All we need is one little bit better feeling thought, and we begin to go up the ladder, and things begin to feel better. But if we are staying at just the intellectual level here and just saying the words, nothing ever will change for you or me. See it, feel it, and hold it. I was talking to somebody this week and said, well, I kept saying, I am joy. I said, yeah, but what were you feeling? Well, not so much joy. You can say, I am joy 1,000 times a day, 7 days a week, and not feel joy, and you're going to get not feel joy. It's a law. And so that's what we got to really pay attention here. See it, feel it, and hold it. If you want to move to joy, you got to begin to bring up ideas and thoughts and things that you see that would bring joy into your life, and begin to feel joy. Otherwise, you never will. It'll just be words. It'll stay words forever until you drop it down into here. So the more you begin to play at this, the faster you will manifest it. So when you pretend or selectively remember, you activate a new vibration, and your point of attraction begins to shift. I've said this a couple weeks in a row now. The universe or God does not know when you're making it up. Your imagination, Einstein said your imagination is more powerful than knowledge. This is what he was talking about. Use your imagination to see what it would look like when you were joyful. See that movie, feel that movie, you begin to shift your point of attraction to bring more joy. So it's a little bit more work than just affirmations, because they're just words. But once you get the movie going and once you begin to feel it, then the affirmation can drive it to you, and you can say, I am joy, and this is how it manifests for me when I have joy. Now you've fulfilled the rest of the formula. Ask, believe, and feel that you've already received it, and you will. And that's the piece in here so many times is missing for all of us. We do the words, but we don't get into create the picture and the vibration of it. I was watching a golf tournament yesterday, and one of the golfers was lining up a putt, and they were in close, and I watched him close his eyes twice. And I knew what he was doing. He was seeing the ball go in the hole, and he was feeling what that felt like. And he stood back up and knocked it right in the middle of the hole. So this is not just fairy stuff. This is, people are implementing this in their lives at every level, and so can you and I. But you got to go beyond the words. You got to feel it, see it, and feel it, and hold it until you feel that it begin to move. Process number 19. Releasing resistance to become free of debt. What I love again about what Abraham does is he's dealing with all aspects of life. And not only are we to be joyful co-creators, but we're to be free. And one of the ways in today's world is not to be free is to be so enamored and overloaded with debt. And so this process that he's teaching here is a wonderful process. I know we've implemented this very kind of process to get out of debt. And not all, for me, as a financial person and a coach, not all debt is, to me, bad. You know, if you have a mortgage on a house and a car, interest rates today are so low, and you can refinance it, that debt is not a big deal. For me, what's a big deal is credit card debts can be anywhere from 10 to 25%. Those numbers will just enslave you. They won't, there's no freedom in that. So that I put that qualifier in there. Abraham really didn't. But I think in today's world, I wouldn't get concerned about that kind of debt. I would be concerned if you're carrying credit card debt and the kind of interest you pay. So when you want to experience the relief of being in debt, that's what this process is about. Now, some of you who took the Holy Money course that I did, you're going to see a little bit of that in here, but he does it in a different way that works also. Anywhere from frustration, number 10, the whole way to the bottom. And there's a lot of people that I've worked with that are down at the bottom when it comes to fear and depression over debt. So it's a very easy, simple process. You go to the store, go to Target or Walmart, and get one of those column, you know which ones I mean, the financial ones with columns. You get one of those pads or notebooks. And so he has you write this across the top. It's my desire to keep my promise regarding all of these financial obligations. And in some cases, I will even do twice as much as required. And you're going to see what we're talking about here in a minute. So at the top of column 1, you write the name of your largest financial obligation. Column 2, the second largest, 3, 4, however, down to the smallest one. So across the top, you have whatever your financial obligations might be. As you come down the column, so those are the columns going across. As you come down then the lines, you write two numbers. Line 1, you write the monthly amount and circle it, and line 2 is the amount that's owed. And you do that across all columns. So by the time you get to the right, over here to the far right, you're going to have the smallest amount of debt that you owe, right? So they're all lined up. And you say, oh man, this is painful. This is part of the exercise. This is part of the process. Because most of us do not want to know how much debt is. And by not knowing, we think, what is that? When we do that, that is suppressing it. It's sticking it in Pandora's box. And just the willingness to put it up on paper, your vibration will begin to shift. Immediately. And I've seen this happen. So this is the process. I think I have. And so every time you make a payment, you drop down then 2 lines. So the next month will be whatever the payment is and then how much you still owe. And you just keep coming down the columns that way till you fill the page, and then you start a new column, new pages. But there's a process in here that's very interesting. So each month, you want to double the payment on the far right column, your smallest debt. And if you can double that payment, you're going to start seeing that come away quicker. And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And so the whole idea is, can I double the payment on the far right, the smallest amount, and we're holding all these others constant as we go down, and as we are, the amount we owe keeps coming down. But we start moving from the right over and start paying them off. That's when your vibration goes up, big time. Because you start for the first time maybe vibrating to a point that I'm coming out from under this mountain of debt. So here's kind of what it looks like. I'm trying to give you the columns. So I just put some numbers in. There's the mortgage, $1,000. I owe $100,000. Car payment's $500. I owe $10,000. And Visa's $50 a month and $500. So on the far, that one, which I've got myself sideways or backwards. You put $100 on it instead of the 50. And so when next month you come up to do it, my 1,000 again on the mortgage. Now I know not a whole 1,000 comes off there, but just I was trying to keep the math simple. It drops down. The car drops down. But you can see what's happening on the Visa side. So instead of coming down only 50, I came down 100, and in 4 months I'm going to wipe that out if I can keep $100 going. What Abraham says, if you're willing to do this, you're going to start seeing money show up to double over here on the right side. The universe will come in and become partner with you in this game, in this process. And will start helping you clean up as you come across. The folks that I've worked with this is one of the most difficult things to do. They will resist this at all levels until finally you do it. And all of a sudden, you will feel, I promise you, you will feel a vibrational shift, even if you haven't paid one more penny. The fact that you got it down there and you can see you have a plan and you begin to work the plan, your whole vibration, your guts begin to change over this. And that begins, remember, it only takes one better thought, feeling thought, and one better feeling thought, and one better feeling thought. And what happens is you begin this process. You have a partner out there who's going to come and work with you through the law of attraction. What am I attracting now? I'm attracting paying down my debt. That's a lot healthier and more powerful place to be than, oh my God, you have no idea how I'm burdened down with this. So debt is really important to pay attention to. You want to get it in a place where you have a way to come to the universe and begin to look at a way to move through that. Abraham says this, and I'll say it doubly. As soon as you begin to play this game, if you're willing to be courageous enough to go to Target or Walmart and buy one and start it, you will feel a shift. I promise you, a vibrational shift will occur. Most people choose to not know what they owe. And getting it on paper shifts immediately. And then beginning to play the game month after month after month, you start to rise like the cork we've been talking about. As you keep your promise to yourself and you double that far right one, you're going to see this process begin to work. And you're going to feel relief. And that is a much better place than overwhelm. Most people choose not to know what they owe. Getting on paper shifts. I promise you it will. So give it a try. See what happens. And as you continue to play, the columns begin to disappear from the right, and you move. And all of a sudden, you only have two. You say, okay, I can live from here. It's okay. I own a house, I own a car, everybody has that today, it's not a problem, interest rates are so low, it's not an issue. That's a much better place to come from when you're coming from money and debt in the combination. Your financial well-being begins to improve. Remember, it's all about well-being at all levels of our lives. And this will allow the financial well-being to go up immediately. I had to put this in because Abraham said this in the back of this chapter. He goes, you cannot get poor enough to help the impoverished. You cannot get poor enough to help them. It's not about being poor. It's about thriving. And the more you thrive, the more assets, the more things you have, you can help other people. So he says, you got to shift this stuff, because he talks about over and over again how many issues we all have around money. And if we don't get to a place where our vibrational understanding and feeling about money is in a positive way, we're going to be in this the rest of our lives. If the subject, and I love what he ended with, if the subject of money makes you uncomfortable, that means there's a strong desire related to it. We need to get comfortable around money. He said, if not, if we're not uncomfortable about it, I say, which means it really, 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 really matters to you. Okay? So let this be a check. Where am I around money? What am I feeling about money? Is it a good feeling place? What do I want? Remember our question. What do I want for myself, and how do I feel? And if I'm not feeling good about money, what am I doing? I'm resisting and putting up the resistance, which pushes it away. No, this is about being well-being at all levels of our lives, including money. So whatever it takes, this is one idea. We've had a couple others in this process. Find a way to begin to think about money and feel good. That's our work. So that the financial well-being, it will become flowing into our lives. But here's what you can't do. You just can't think about the lack of money and let it in. If you're thinking about the lack, you are resisting money and you're pushing it away. It will never, ever, ever happen until you reverse that vibrational piece and begin to appreciate, enhance, allow, put it in its right perspective. Money's just a way to keep track of energy flow. It's nothing more than that. So look at that as it's one of the negative. Most human beings today have not gotten to a place of well-being around money and finance. And he ended with this: the standard of life is not the amount of money nor how much stuff you have. The standard of life is the amount of joy you experience every day. Right? But it's difficult to experience a lot of joy if we don't have the money thing taken care of. Vibration. And that's what this is about. All the resources you ever want or need are at your fingertips. All you have to do is identify what it is you want and practice feeling what it will feel like when it's there. It's all available to you and I. We just have to switch our minds and our feelings around it. Life is supposed to be fun. It is supposed to feel good. And you are a powerful co-creator, and you are right on schedule. No condemnation here, no judgment. These are guidance. Where you are today, and you can feel better about it. You can put these processes in place. But this isn't about feeling bad about yourself. You're right on schedule with where you're to be. Now we go to a place to the next level. Practice feeling good and watch what happens. This is specific to money, but it's true for any other part of our lives. Okay, process number 20, turning it over to the manager. When you feel you have too much to do, anybody ever been overwhelmed this week? Turn it over to the manager. I think last week or week before we had the placemat, remember? Well, not all of you use placemats. So there's another way to do it. Somewhere between frustration and anger. Abraham's humor came out in this chapter. Imagine you're an owner of a large corporation with thousands of employees and multiple managers. You're the big cheese. All these people working for you. And whenever you get an idea, the manager says, well, I'll take care of it, and does. So your job is to delegate, right? Come up with the ideas, decide what it is you want, and then turn it over to the managers to make it happen. We don't do that, do we? Instead, we say, oh yeah, we know the law of attraction's there, but I've got to do all this work myself. I'll get in there and make it happen. Now, I know I'm not the only one that does this. I mean, my nickname is Get Her Done Dan for a reason, because he tries to do it himself too much. And what this is about is not that. It's about allowing the flow of the universe and learning a new way to do things. So Abraham says back to us when we do that, he goes, well then, what good is the law of attraction? If you're going to do it all yourself, forget about it. Just go on and do it. He says this, it's like you pay this manager $200,000 a year, and when he asks you if you have anything for him to do, you say, oh no, I'm happy to pay you to have the title, but I'll do it all myself. Thank you. We have a tendency to do that, don't we? If it's going to get done right, I'll do it. Right? And what he's asking us to do here is to look at it a little bit different. How we approach our day, how we approach our life. So you make your request with the expectancy to receive. And what I would welcome you to do this week is take something that you would normally take on and put out a request with the expectancy that it happens for you. And then not do anything else about it. So when you delegate in this manner, you meet the law's two requirements. Number one is you identify your desire. That's a rocket of desire. And number two, you allow the universe to bring it to you. Those are the two requirements we have. But a lot of us want to do, we finally get to doing a rocket of desire, and then we start running hard. We got to make it happen. We got to make that rocket desire happen now. And that's not what this is. This is taking a breath, turning it over, believing that the law of attraction will work for you if you meet these two criteria, and give it enough time to let it work. We get impatient. It's like, it has to happen now. We start pulling it to shoots. No, breathe. Relax into trust to see what happens. Become the visionary in the creation mode. That's your job and that's mine. See, feel what we want. Right? We don't have to do it all. But we have to bring the vision. We have to see it and we have to feel it. That's the visionary in the creation mode. Not what a lot of us are is the actionary. The be in the action of it all. The top one is much more the being. The bottom is the doing. And we have been well trained in doing. But But this is a different approach. This is being able to do our part, see it and feel it, desire it, create it in our minds, and feel it in our stomachs, and then let the universe bring it. And not go out there and try to sweat equity ourselves to make it happen. So again, this week you have 4 processes. Focus wheel. If you've got deep-seated beliefs, this is where I would go. Because by the time you do 12, you're going to have a different vibration to make it happen. Finding that feeling place. Getting away from the words. The words are important, but they're not all of it. You got to get deep. Feel it. See it and feel it. Releasing the resistance to become debt-free. Everyone in here could be free of all debt if you choose. But you have to set it as an intention. And then you have to put a plan in place and turn it over to the universe to help you do. And finally, turning it over to the manager. Be the creative visionary, not the one who's always trying to make it happen over and over again. All right? So as I said, every week, pick one, try it. If it doesn't work for you, pick another. But these processes all work. They work because the fundamental law of attraction will never, ever fail you. It's eternal. It's absolute. And you and I have to put ourselves in alignment with that so that we can allow it to work and go forward. All right. We're going to go to our decrees now and then our meditation at the end. So let's do today 6 times. Om Tat Sat Om. You can stand if you'd like. You can stay seated if you'd like. It's up to you. This is where we're